This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another week and another episode of the Food for Thought podcast. I'm your host, Kylie Thompson. Thank you guys so much for coming back despite all of the craziness that's been happening over the last couple of weeks for me. I'm really happy to be doing an actual real episode this week, so I am going to just dive right into it because I'm actually feeling pretty inspired, and it's been a long time since I have been excited to record and get some content out for you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with me through all of this and for your love and support. Some of you guys have even been talking to me about buying merch through all of this, so it makes me feel even better because, you guys haven't given up on me. You're still wanting to support me, buy merch, listen to the podcast, and I love you guys for that. I will be dropping a link in the description for this episode for where you guys can buy merch. We have crew necks, t-shirts, masks, bags, throw pillows, all that good stuff. I have some stickers, and just go out using the link in the description for the episode and buy merch. And when you do, tag me so that I can thank you guys for supporting me, because when you do buy merch, just remember that is supporting Public House Media as well as me directly. So thank you. I always appreciate that. Moving on to the next thing in the intro, I am doing good, guys. For the first time in a while, I think mentally, physically, I really am doing a lot better. UTI stuff, I know I told you I would keep you updated on that. It's been 2 weeks. I've had no UTIs. Thank God. I know I talked about Eucora last week. Still using it, still loving it. I reordered my next month's box, and I upgraded from getting a box of just 10 to a box of 25 because I think that that's going to be a little bit better for me. And I've been using it every couple of days after the gym, after anything, like if I'm at work and I'm just holding my pee for too long, that can be triggering for a UTI, so I just make sure to keep it on me at all times. I also, again, none of these products are sponsored, but they have been helping me, so I do just want to tell you guys, because if you also struggle with UTIs or imbalanced pH or anything like that, these products really truly are helping me. So the next one I wanted to talk about was the Honey Pot Company. I've listened to the owner, I'm forgetting her name, but I've listened to the owner of the Honey Pot Company on other podcasts, and their branding is everything. Their products are vegan, cruelty-free, which works really great for me, being a plant-based primarily eater. And the products have really helped me. I used to use Summer's Eve products for when I was feeling a little imbalanced in my pH or anything like that, and they were giving me UTIs. So I would use the Summer's Eve wipes, and after every time I used one, I would go in with some sort of urinary discomfort, and they were just very irritating to me. So I was a little weary when I purchased the Honey Pot Companies from Target a couple of days ago, but I've been using them, and I love them. I haven't had any issues, and it feels so good to finally feel like I can do whatever I want without being worried about getting a UTI. So if you guys struggle with UTIs, those are just two products that I would recommend. First and foremost, Eucora. It's a pink lemonade flavored mix that you put into water and you consume it after sex or after going to the gym or after holding your pee for too long, because those are all things that can hurt your urinary tract system. So I will be packing it when I get on my flight next week to go to Ohio for a wedding. Travel can trigger it because you're probably holding your pee more frequently than you normally would. I will be drinking and all that stuff, so I'm just really trying to make sure that my urinary tract health stays intact while I'm on vacation. So the Honey Pot wipes and feminine wash and Eucora will all be coming with me on this trip, which leads me into my next thing. I, as of today, 7 dresses later, finally found a dress that made me feel confident and sexy and happy, and I'm so excited about it. So I really feel like everything is falling into place for this wedding and for vacation. I'm really feeling a lot better, guys. even like these last couple of weeks have just been so rough. So it feels so good to finally feel like all of my bills are paid. I'm not financially stressed. I found a dress for the wedding. That's off my list. Literally the last thing I have to do besides like go to work and whatever before this vacation is buy a gift for the bride and groom, which like is so easy. They're using the Knot wedding registry. Obsessed. So yeah, I really feel like I'm just like getting back into the swing of things. And yeah, I mean, I know last week I was recording really late and I was telling you guys I was going into a job interview. I did get the job on the spot. We love to see it. So that's going to be happening. I'm going to be working at one of the nightclubs in the area for a little bit just to make some extra money. And my photography is going well. I'm really excited to see where my life is headed. COVID kind of ruined all of my plans in so many different ways, and so it feels good to finally feel like I'm getting back on my feet, kind of figuring out who I am and what I want, because COVID, as much as I think people are trying to deny it, like it changed everyone's life, mine included, and I was left feeling a little lost for quite a few months. So it feels really good to be back on my feet and to feel like I am becoming myself again, my pre-quarantine self. And all of this leads me into what I want to talk about with today's episode. It's going to be probably a little bit shorter still, but for me, finding out who I am in the midst of COVID-19 and what I'm passionate about and what I need has really brought me into this new realm of self-care. So I would say pre-COVID, I was one of those people that was like, well, self-care is just like face masks and bubble baths and drinking wine with your girlfriends and all that stuff. And like, I'm not going to diminish that is a form of self-care. I know that it is, but I think over these last couple of months, I've really dived into what self-care really is. And I've really honed in on like what is good for me and for my self-care regimen. And I thought I would share it with you guys. Quite a few years ago, I was in college, probably a sophomore or junior. My friend Elizabeth told me the phrase one time, self-care isn't selfish. And that phrase has stuck with me for all these years, and it's something I keep repeating to myself, especially right now, because we all get so caught up in doing things for everybody else. And as someone who is running a couple small businesses and is a server and is in a relationship, I feel like I'm always giving and giving and giving until my cup is just like beyond empty. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that as well. So this episode you can relate it to eating disorder recovery because it does relate to that sense with me as well. But this is just kind of general, like what I do when my mental health, for whatever reason, is not doing as great. Like if you listen to 2 episodes ago when I was explaining I'm trying to find a wedding dress fiasco situation and just like how that made my mental health plummet. These are all things that I've done in the last couple of weeks to try and get myself back to feeling normal, which I do finally now. And I thought I would share them with you guys just in case you needed some too. The first couple are a little bit superficial. It's really just wear clothes that make you feel good, and feeling good, I think, can mean something different to everyone, and I think even to myself day by day. Like today, I had the day off of work. I was going shopping with my boyfriend. We were going out to lunch. I knew I was going to record some content, and then I'm meeting some friends for some drinks after this. So I wanted to feel good, feel comfy, but still look good as well. So I put on cute jeans, little crop top, some new shoes, and went out the door. It was great, and I'm really excited to enjoy the rest of my evening. But some days, wearing clothes that makes me feel good is sweatpants and a sports bra or a giant t-shirt and nothing else, because I think just feeling good day to day changes for everybody. So just remembering, like, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about what you look like as long as you feel good and feel confident and feel comfortable. And I also always like to, when I'm feeling down, even if I'm not going anywhere, I just do my hair and makeup. So that when I like walk by a mirror, for those of you that don't know, my apartment so it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and it has probably 15 mirrors in it. Like before I even moved in, every single closet has a mirror on it. There's 3 mirrors in the bathroom. They're on my bedroom, like all the doors are mirrors, if that makes sense. So I'm walking through my apartment and I don't have my hair and makeup done and I look kind of gross and tired. I look at myself and I was already feeling like shit. So then I would look at myself and be like, well, no wonder you feel like ish. You look like ish. Like, get up, shower, do your hair, do your makeup, do whatever makes you feel good. And I think that is the epitome of self-care, is like, what can I do to make myself feel good? Whether or not my situation in life is good, I just want to be able to feel normal and human and good again. So those are a couple of like more superficial options for you guys. And while superficial, I do think that they totally work. So I always like to do those. And while I'm doing all of this, and really throughout every second of every day, I am playing music that makes me feel good or listening to a funny podcast. If you guys know me, you know that I'm always listening to the Girls Gotta Eat podcast. Raina and Ashley are professional comedians. They're so funny. My bucket list item is to go see them in a live tour once we're allowed to do that again. But I'm always listening to their podcast. I love EDM music, so I'm always bumping that. I'm just doing anything to make me like dance around, feel happy, or laugh. So making sure that you guys are, fulfilling all of the senses. So like you want to look good, so that's your eyesight. You want to put things into your ears that sound good to you and make you feel some type of way. And sometimes self-care could also be listening. I have an album literally called Crying to Taylor Swift. Like I sometimes that's self-care. And so just put something on that helps you get the emotion out. And usually when I am trying to build myself back up, I want to feel happy and strong and confident. So I'm blasting Beyonce and Demi Lovato, or I'm listening to a funny podcast that makes me feel like a bad bitch. And it's just doing all of these things to make you feel good, and remembering that doing those things and taking the time to do them is not selfish. And on top of all of those, I have really been working on, I touched on this in a couple other episodes, but quarantine made me realize that I did not have a lot of hobbies. I have always been a serial monogamist, so I've always been in relationship after relationship after relationship. I've always made my hobby my significant other at the time and pageantry. And in quarantine, pageantry was taken away from me, and I didn't have the opportunities to network and compete and work with my social impact in ways that I had imagined. So I just wanted to be with my boyfriend all the time, and I was so far stuck up his butt that I don't think he liked being around me very much. And it was finally in those, we never argued about it, or he never told me anything, but I just kind of read his nonverbal body language and stuff like that. But I realized mid-pandemic that I needed a hobby. So I tried to dive into real estate. I tried to get my license. I'm still in the process of that, but I don't really see myself as having that as one of my passions or hobbies. I am going to continue the education and get my license in case I change my mind, but it wasn't until a couple weeks ago when I bought my camera that I was like, holy shit, I have a hobby. And so now when I'm feeling down, or I'm left alone with my thoughts, or I'm just really feeling shit, for lack of a better word, I go take pictures, whether they're portraits of other people that I love, or going outside on a walk and just photographing anything that I see. I love doing that, and it makes me feel good. Like I said, you're going to hear that phrase a million times in this episode. Do what makes you feel good. Which leads me to my next point, and kind of what I was talking about earlier with outfits. Feeling good is different day to day. So some days, self-care for me is getting up with a to-do list, going to the gym, getting my hair and makeup done, running all of my errands, getting an iced coffee, cleaning my car, doing all that stuff. And at the end of the day, when I am curling up to go to bed, I feel like I did something. And some days, that's just not what self-care is to me. Some days it's I want to eat dry cereal out of the box in my pajamas while I watch Gilmore Girls for 8 hours straight. It just varies day to day, and I think being conscious of that is going to be really important for self-care too. So now we're just kind of getting into what self-care can be when it's not that glamorous stuff. It could be something as simple as making sure that your space is clean. When I get really depressed or anxious, or I just kind of go through one of my phases where my mental health just isn't the best, my space gets disgusting. My boyfriend learned very quickly living with me that, especially the bedroom, if the bedroom has clothes all over the floor and I haven't made the bed in a couple of days and things are just cluttered, it means that I'm anxious and it means that I'm feeling overwhelmed. And at the end of every day, just take my clothes off, throw them on the floor. I walk past the pile in the morning and I just don't care, which for me is just a sign that my mental health isn't doing the best. And he's picked up on that and he kind of helps me. I mean, sometimes he'll just do it for me, which I think is a wonderful act of love, and that's great. But sometimes he'll look at me and he'll be like, this place is a mess and it's primarily your mess. I'll help you, but like, what do you need to do to get to a better spot? And so I think he keeps me accountable in that way, but I like to make sure that I do it too. And just like, if I walk by that pile of clothes for a week, like sometimes it takes a week before I feel emotionally and mentally and physically ready to get up and clean it, but it always gets done and I always feel a lot better afterwards. And it's just like listening to your body, and it's okay to have a messy apartment every now and then, but like, that's just not how I live my life primarily. And so making sure that my space is clean always helps my mental health as well. And making sure your prescriptions are refilled and you are taking any medication that you're on, that's a form of self-care. There's so many little things that you guys can all do when your mental health is low just to ensure that your quality of life is getting better every single day. And maybe for some of you that is being on a prescription medication that stabilizes your mood or your emotions. And, you know, for me, it's making sure I have my anxiety medication and my birth control so I'm not worried about anything like that, and just like making sure that I feel good. You guys are going to hear it so much, but just self-care to me, and like, I'm not a mental health expert, I'm not a self-help expert, but mental health to me is just doing whatever it takes to ensure that at the end of the night when you lay your head down, you feel good and you feel safe and you feel like you like the life that you're living and you like who you are. So that can even be affirmations or looking in the mirror every day and being like, you are a bomb bitch. Like, who allowed you to be that cute? It can be so many different things, and you just have to find that routine that works for you. And I do highly recommend, you know, have a skincare routine that you do every night, because that is a form of self-care. You take that time every single day for yourself to show yourself love and appreciation and put expensive products into your skin, and, you know, tell yourself affirmations while you're doing that. That nightly routine in itself can change a lot of different perspectives for you. I mean, when I'm doing my makeup in the morning, I like to think of things I'm thankful for. That is a form of self-care that sets my tone for the day and makes me feel good, because I think about all of the wonderful things and people that I have in my life. So, guys, I really don't know if any of this was helpful to you, but this is what I was feeling really called to talk about. And honestly, speaking of self-care and things that make me feel good, just getting on this microphone and talking to you guys and being honest and rambling about life and what I'm going through and putting it out there really does make me feel good. So thank you guys for being listeners and for giving me the opportunity to do anything like this, because 2020 has not been the year that any of us thought it would be, but I think it's really important for all of us to be open and honest and to share our truths with each other, and to make sure that we all come out of this year better, stronger, and cared for. So I hope that this episode was helpful to you. Next week, I will be on vacation, so there will not be an episode next week, but I'm really, really excited to get back on the horse. I'm going to come back with wedding updates and lots of really quality content for you guys. So in the meantime, make sure that you share this episode with a friend or go back and listen to some other episodes that you think people might want to hear as well. Leave ratings, reviews, subscribe, talk to me on Instagram, follow my personal, follow the Food for Thought pod _ Instagram as well. And thank you guys so much for everything you do for me, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.